First, we'll do the question answers. Let us recite this mantra 7 times. Tirtha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tirtha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, there are several questions coming here. They are very good questions. The first one is, when we commit negative karma, we have a tendency to feel guilty. How to minimize this guilt? Okay, this is a question which comes to our mind, almost to all of us. One, the guilt, there are two. There are two kinds of guilt, or guilt. Okay, anyway, the guilt and regret, these two are slightly different. Guilt and regret. Related, but they're not identical. Guilt and regret. Final point is that the negative karmas, everyone, till you say to really follow the path, gade parasam gade borisoham, then they say till you reach like very advanced level of gade paragade, almost a paragade level. We continue to accumulate negative karmas there. Now the point is that negative karmas, and of course we cannot really leave the negative karmas like, okay, everybody accumulates, so what? This is not the point. The point is that they create problems on us. They create pains on us. When we go through the pains, it's so excruciating that we cannot really bear them. So because of that, we need to cleanse, we need to purify the negativities. For that matter, we need to employ what is known as the 4 powers to purify the negativities, 4 powers of purification. We need to apply that. For the application of 4 powers, the 4 powers are the power of regret, the first one, power of regret. And of course, before the regret, say in terms of number, it may differ. Say the power of the basis, power of the regret, power of the antidote, and finally the power of not relapsing to the negativities. Power of the basis, power of regret, then the power of antidote, and the power of not relapsing to negativities. For the first one, the basis, power of the basis, meaning that any form of negative karmas that we accumulate, somehow they are related to either, say, the basis of refuge or the basis of bodhicitta. What is the basis of refuge? The 3 jewels. Basis of bodhicitta, sentient beings. So we accumulate negative karma either related to the basis of the refuge or the basis of the bodhicitta. For that matter, say we cultivate a very strong feeling of refuge to undo negative karmas related to the refuge. For example, like denigrating, repudiating, denigrating, or being scornful of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And then, say for example, sometimes we leave the precious books, we just walk over the precious books, or the picture of the Buddha, and so forth. So the intentionally, unintentionally. So these are the negative karmas related to the triple gem or the 3 jewels. Then the negative karma pertaining to sentient beings, like being angry, jealous, wanting to harm others, and wanting to retaliate. And even though there's a sound basis for you, in a very mundane sense, sound basis, like, okay, you do not, the other person was solely responsible for making you angry, and then you show anger, you fight against the person. So there, what happens is that all these negative karmas you're creating related to the sentient beings. So sentient beings, eventually, they become the source of your bodhicitta practice. For you to be fully awakened, to have the maximum happiness, it is only through becoming enlightened. To become enlightened is only through bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is possible only through the sentient beings. So being, say, somehow, with no matter what excuses you have, the moment you feel disliking to the sentient beings, even if, say, you are otherwise very kind, generous person, and then there's one person who is so nasty, you feel angry towards this person, the bodhicitta, you are a compassionate person, yes, fine. But for the bodhicitta to reach to that level of the sophistication of the thinking, the bodhicitta will not arise. Without the bodhicitta, Buddhahood, the full awakening, the infinite happiness will not happen. So keeping that in mind, with the greater learning, we need to have a sense of, say, the sense of refuge, the bodhicitta. In order to undo the negativities related to the sentient beings, we practice bodhicitta as for the first power, the power of the basis. The basis related to the 3 jewels, basis related to the sentient beings. For that, increase the strength of your refuge, increase the strength of bodhicitta. The more you do, you are building the power of the basis. This is the ground. Once the ground is laid, then for the actual purification, the first thing which is the indispensably required is the regret over having done the negativities. Regret. And say very closely related to the regret is the guilt. And the guilt is quite strong word. Guilt, yes, it does happen. And when the guilt becomes so acute, it can again take the person into, go down to a bit of depression. So the point is how to tackle that. This is a different question. I will address this. But the regret is required. Without the regret over having done the negativity, then you putting effort to purify the negativities will not be so serious, so intense. So the regret will make sure that whatever effort that you put to cleanse the negativities, they'll become very productive. So number 2 is the power of the regret. Then number 3 is the power of the antidote. With regret, what are we going to do now? How to cleanse the negativities? Any virtues that you do, meant to purify the negativities, they become the power of antidote. Any virtues that you do. And if you're being very precise, the meditation on emptiness. Meditation on emptiness, this is the best, the most powerful, most effective way of cleansing the negativities. Because all the negativities, somehow they are grounded on the self-grasping ignorance. So wisdom will undo the self-grasping ignorance. Then, however negativities that one has accumulated earlier, when the iceberg melts, all the houses that you build on the iceberg will automatically crumble. So all the negativities that you accumulated will automatically be cleansed. So wisdom emptiness is so powerful. Then along with this wisdom emptiness, then we also have the practice of the Shri Vajrasattva practice, 100-syllable mantra recitation practice, Shri Vajrasattva practice. So this to be done as the main antidote, and the wisdom of emptiness is so important. If you don't have wisdom of emptiness, then of course you can do any other virtues. Of course, they're not going to be as effective as the wisdom of emptiness. To make it very effective, somehow the wisdom of emptiness must be inculcated. Now, for the wisdom of emptiness, never expect that it will come automatically. You have to study systematically. And if you get the wisdom of emptiness, you will see that this is the greatest meaning of your life. Wisdom of emptiness. This is the greatest meaning of your life. Because, say, what do you mean by success? Okay, So when you apply for some job, you get very the high paid, good position job. You feel a sense of fulfillment because there's a very pleasant feeling coming in you. A sense of fulfillment comes to you. Now, with the wisdom of emptiness, you realize that all these problems dissolve because of the wisdom of emptiness. This job, sense of fulfillment, because now look, they say, I am on a position where people will respect me. Now I'm in a position where I get a good salary that I don't have to really worry about the food, clothing, house, and so forth. So these problems are solved because of this good, the well-paid, the job. So these few problems are solved, and you feel a sense of fulfillment. This wisdom of emptiness solves all our problems. Then the sense of fulfillment is so profound. You realize that, wow, I'm so lucky that I have found the final panacea to heal all my problems. The final medicine, the panacea to heal all my problems. What extremely you'll feel so profoundly fulfilled, and you see that anybody has this guarantees that the person will be heading towards the fearlessness. Okay, this is the required. Then finally, number 4, the power of not relapsing to negativities. And then, okay, negativities anybody can engage in. But the point is the difference between the two negativities. Negativity is done by the unwise person, and negativity is done by the wise person. The difference is that wise person will make a commitment that, yes, I did this negativity, I regret, and I'll do to purify that, and I'll not relapse. I'll not repeat this negativity. So making commitment not to relapse to negativity, that is number 4, power. That is so precious. Okay, now going back to the main point. How to minimize this guilt? Say, the guilt, as I said earlier, the guilt. This feeling of guilt, feeling regret, in a way is very important for us, but at the same time, if this feeling of guilt and feeling of regret, it is consuming you, it is draining your energy, it makes you totally inept to do anything, that guilt is not good. The guilt or the regret that comes to your mind, and then that makes you feel that, okay, this is what I did, is really wrong, I should not have done it. Okay, never mind, I'll not do it anymore. I'll not do it anymore. I take it as a lesson now. I take it as a lesson, right? I take it as henceforth I'll not do it. I'll do just the opposite. It reinforces this feeling of the guilt, this feeling of the regret, makes you reinforce your conviction to do virtues. If that happens, this guilt and the regret is so precious. Finally, till you achieve Buddhahood, Bodhiswaha, nobody is perfect. Because nobody is perfect, people are bound to make mistakes. While making mistakes, there are 2 ways of making mistakes. One, who make the mistakes and then go deeper down, regret, and then no, now hopeless, now I give up doing good things, this one. Another way, do the mistake, from there, one realizes that you take that mistake as a lesson. From this lesson, okay, now I got a lesson. So this mistake I made, I'm very sorry. I really regret it. Henceforth, I will not repeat it. And this is all because of these factors. Henceforth, I will get rid of all these factors. I will not repeat this. I will not give in to this mistake anymore. If you're able to take lesson out of the early mistakes, that mistakes is worth making it. Whereas if you fail to take lesson out of that, it's an additional torture. Because the mistake is made, consequences there, and then you're the feeling additional the pain and being drowned, not getting any energy to do virtue, that is additional pain. So this is something that we need to take care of. Okay, now how to get rid of this guilt or the regret in case if it is so overwhelming within you. So how to get rid of this question. For that matter, what is very important is think of finally I should also always, my basic thinking should be, okay, I should be a wise person. I should not be unwise. What is wise and unwise? Wise person is somebody who always go from the 100% dark to the 80% dark to the 50%. There's always improvement happening. Where there's improvement happening, any situation, you do something good, I'm so happy, I'll do it more. You do something bad, okay, I regret, I'll not do it, and now this is a lesson. So with this negativity, I'll henceforth never do it. I will improve myself to do better. So this is the wise people. And those people who are unwise, they do something good, and somebody says that, oh, you do such a great good thing, and then ego arises. So that good thing is nullified by the ego. One. And the bad things you do, then you feel, I'm the worst person, I'm a hopeless person, I cannot really go through the dharma, now I will not go to TPC, I will not go to ABC, I'm a hopeless person. So that drowns you even deeper. This is unwise. Mistakes anybody can make. Anybody can make. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, but be afraid of repeating the mistakes. Wise people will not repeat mistakes. Unwise people will repeat mistakes. This is the problem. Finally, you can repeat the mistakes if you become happier. Do it. By repeating mistakes, your problems will simply multiply. This is the problem. So therefore, the point is that just calculate it too. Use your cognitive ability to calculate it too, which is more beneficial. Go for the more beneficial. Go for the more beneficial. So by regret, and then your energy is drowned, this is more beneficial, go for it. With your regret, you take it as lesson. Okay, I got a lesson. This is a lesson. I should not have done it. Now, in future, I'll not do it. It's a great lesson for me. So when you say it is a lesson, do you feel that as a good thing or bad thing? Oh, this is a lesson for me. Do you feel a sense of accomplishment or a sense of no accomplishment? A lesson means I've learned something. Learn something means you have accomplished. So the moment you feel a sense of accomplishment, your mind will be uplifted. A pleasant feeling comes in you. The pleasant feeling will minimize your regret. So if you see that as a lesson, okay, this is a good lesson for me. I'm so happy that it happened today. While I can think about dharma, while I can think about emptiness, I'm so happy that it happened to me today. Whereas if it happens to me like when my mind is totally insane, where my mind is totally, say, I take birth in some other realms, where I don't have this capacity to think of the wisdom of emptiness, Dorji, and so forth, then these mistakes can really drown me deeper. I'm so fortunate it happened to me today. So I'll make sure that henceforth it will not repeat. So, not repeating it, this is the wise. Otherwise, anybody till Buddhahood, somehow we have some mistakes. Okay, so this is how just calculate the two scenario. So where with the regret, you just regret, okay, pain. Just think about the mistake. Think about the mistake. It'll make you deeper regret, and then it'll drown you more. Then think about the positive side. Yes, I made mistake, but it's a great lesson. So from this, I know that, okay, these mistakes can happen because of these factors. Henceforth, I will not engage in these factors. Henceforth, I will make sure that this mistake is not repeated. Amazing. I'm so happy that I'm getting a lesson, a very profound lesson, which anybody can easily slip into. Today, I realize that this is the mistake of a profound lesson. The moment you say it's a profound lesson, which is better? Or I got a lesson, or I got a profound lesson, which is better? Profound lesson. There's a joy coming in you. This joy will mitigate your regret. Okay, this is how we can tackle the regret. Finally, regret, no regret, it doesn't matter. After all, we are in samsara. The point is, wise person is, with the regret, no regret, if you come out of samsara, if you attempt to come out of samsara, gate. If that is happening, with regret, if gate happens, have regret. Without regret, by mitigating the regret, feeling that it's a great opportunity for me, I'm so happy that this mistake happened to me today. Now I will not repeat this mistake. I got a great lesson today. From this, if it makes you go gade, make it happen. For example, many of the early great saints, Like at the time of Buddha, there was one great arhat by the name Angulimal, meaning the guardian of fingers. He committed 999 murders. He killed 999 people. And then finally he regretted deeply. And then he said that this is a great lesson for me. Now look, this will only take me down. I should not let it happen. I will put effort to come out of this samsara. So he put effort, and then he became liberated. He became arhat. Had it been the case that he was just a very nice person, as a normal person, today he would still be in samsara. Likewise, in the Tibetan also, there were many stories of such beings who with earlier they made mistakes, realizing that and taking that as a lesson, then they really pursue through the path and gate. All these incidents are there. Okay, so this is a very good question. The next question is, you mentioned the 5 mental activities or the 5 mental functions can happen simultaneously. So can cause and effect also happen simultaneously? If so, can effect comes before the cause? Okay, this is a good question. The point is the 5 mental factors, how I explained and how they really exist. How I explained is as though like these 5 are like cause and effect. Yesterday, I made it very clear. These 5 are not cause and effect. These 5 are simultaneously existent. So what is simultaneously existent can never be cause and effect, particularly in the context of the higher Buddhist schools. The lowest Buddhist school, Vaibhashika, lowest Buddhist school, they speak about cause and effect, simultaneous cause and effect. Then Chittamatra, modern school, they also talk about one faction of cause and effect, simultaneously existent. Chittamatra, very small section, one part, the cause of simultaneity of cause and effect is explained, but rest of the Buddhist schools, particularly the highest Buddhist school, there's no room for cause and effect to be simultaneous. What is simultaneous can never be cause and effect. So the 5 mental factors, they're never cause and effect, they're always simultaneous. Okay. Again, it's very similar. The question, if the 5 omnipresent mental factors are always operating subtly or grossly, what will happen at discrimination when I stare at an object, for example, flower, without cognizing it, would feeling and then intention arise? Okay, so when you look at the flower, just gazing at it point blank. And then, so there, what is happening to your, say, the 5 mental factors? They are operating or not operating. So, in a loose sense, in a technical sense too. In a loose sense, the way the ordinary people will say, it is not operating, it's just point blank, it does not really, it does not operate. But, technically speaking meaning, so how the ordinary people, they explain may not be, they are not correct. Ordinary people will say, what is something which is lasting, long, we say is a permanent. Or this house is permanently there. House can never be permanent. All composite things are impermanent. Buddha made it very clear. And how this house is also composite phenomena. It's also impermanent. But the ordinary people, they said, oh, this house is permanently there. Right? Okay. So how the ordinary people explain things and how the reality should be explained. Ordinary people may say that if you just gaze there with your mind blank, you say that, okay, these 5 are not operating. What? But technically speaking, the 5 are still operating, but very passively. Operating very passively. Still they're operating. Okay, so there is, when we talk about the self-grasping I, whether the innate or acquired, is there a precedent before this? Meaning, does it mean that our mind has the conceptual idea of mind before self-grasping? Self-grasping I exists. Okay, so this self-grasping ignorance on the, say according to the very standard texts, like Acharya Chandragiri's text, Madhyamika Avatar, or entry into the middle way. Then Acharya Dharmakirti's text, Pramana Vartika, chapter 2. So there's a mention that first, the self-grasping is that I exists objectively, that arises. Then, because this I becomes so important, it exists objectively and is so important, Then you felt that, okay, this eye needs the food to eat. My food. Okay, my body must be, okay, in the hot season, it must be cool. I need the aircon, right? Then in, say, the very cold places, oh, my body is feeling cold, I need warm, I need, say, the radiator, heater. Okay, so I, then mine. This is how it is extended. Because of I and mine, then you and yours, the two opposites. I and mine, attachment, you and yours, aversion. So attachment, aversion arises. With these two things, then the contaminant karmas arise. Then suffering arises. Okay, so the question is, self-grasping ignorance. What precedes this self-grasping ignorance? Whether it is the grasping at the mind or something else. So I think I mentioned this in this hall as well, that self-grasping ignorance, don't just think of self-grasping ignorance in the space. Self-grasping ignorance of me today. This came from where? It came from the self-grasping ignorance of me yesterday. So self-grasping ignorance, me yesterday came from where? From 2 days ago, from 3 days ago, 4 days ago. You go ad infinitum, it will never come to the beginning. It's known as beginninglessness. So this is how self-grasping has been operating. Okay, again the same thing. Is it the same person questioning? I'm checking the handwriting. Okay. From yesterday's question, during point blank staring at an object, you mentioned the 5 omnipresent mental factors. So there's intention and hence karma is present. Is this karma virtuous or not virtuous? Okay. Karma may not necessarily be virtuous or non-virtuous. It can be neutral karma. For example, okay, when I'm talking, I raise my hands like this, the flower. I say, a beautiful flower, I raise like this. So there, when I say this, my hand, I have no intention to move my hand like this. Automatically my hand moved because of my habit. It moved. So this hand, this hand gesture, this is a physical action. This physical action is physical karma. And it is not negative, it is not positive. It is neutral. So karmas may not necessarily be always positive and negative. It can be neutral as well. So when you just look at it, gaze at the flower, even with your mind going blank, or your mind just really, okay, looking at it, oh, this flower has many petals. Not saying I like it, I don't like it, without this affective, the element involved. You just say, okay, this flower has the numerous petals there, and the center, the hub, it is little darkish there, and the petal, the shape are like this. So these are all the mental processes. And verbal, I say this is a verbal action. And physically, I try to point to these. Okay, these are the multiple flower, petals. So the physical gesture, verbal, mental, all are activated. So they are not positive, they are not negative, they are just neutral. They are karmas. Neutral karmas. So neutral karmas also there. Okay, so then the next is how to manifest, how to rejoice. How to manifest. The first question, I didn't really understand it. The second question, how to rejoice in others' virtues or others' goodness, others' good things. Okay. So, say, our very natural reaction. Natural reaction is, say, either jealousy. Say, if somebody to whom you love so much, if that person does something good, you really rejoice. Then they say the mothers, they take pride in the children's achievement. And the same mother may feel jealous of the neighbor's child's achievement. Right? Okay. So look, so why this mother genuinely feels, for example, okay, sometimes when I send the messages, I'm just observing. When I'm sending messages, WhatsApp messages, I'm simultaneously observing how my mind is working. How my mind is working. Say, I pick up a message about, say, some of my programs. I send it. When I send it, Why I'm sending this, not to tell that I'm doing this, because there are some people who are going so down, not getting any message from anybody, right? Right? Not getting any message from anybody. Other people, there are hundreds of messages there. I'm not getting a single message. Right? They feel so down. Right? Oh, he's very busy. He's going to this. There are so many people there. He does not, for sure, he has no time for me. Right? So then, when I sense that this person feels like this, I send a message to that person. Right? I send a message to that person. Whereas I send the same message to some other people, he's promoting himself. This judgment comes, automatically comes. So therefore I was just observing how my mind works when I send the messages, how I'm selective. I'm checking it. And I see that it is all on the basis of the reaction of the other side. It has a tendency for the other side to feel that, becoming a little judgment. Okay, he's now promoting, he's, becoming arrogant, and then it will not go to that person. Right? And the person would not know what is happening. Whereas somebody who is really down, right? Okay, really down. And somebody said, no, I don't dare to write to you because you are so busy. There are so many people. I said, don't worry, it's WhatsApp. It's not, it's like a telephone. Telephone means you have to attend it. WhatsApp, you send it. Somebody replies, not replies, it doesn't matter. The message will be there. If somebody have time or whatever, will reply you, that's good. If not, at least your job is done. Right? So this is what I'm saying. So why I said this? Oh, you rejoice. How to rejoice? How to rejoice? The point is that rejoicing in the other's virtues. How the mother rejoices your children's achievement, and how the mother may not be too happy with the neighbor's children's success. What makes a difference? Love. Love. The child. So oftentimes people say that, okay, you go to somewhere and then you introduce yourself as what? Okay, let's say your mother is very famous. Your mother is very famous, or your father is very famous, and you go to introduce, you go somebody asks you, who are you? And say, your mother's name is what? Say, what? Mother's name? Okay, Mrs. A. Oh, I'm Mrs. A's daughter. I'm Mrs. A's son. So you take pride in this. You take pride. But if there's no love and affection with the person, then you will not mention this person's name. Right? Something good. So the point is how to rejoice. Rejoice, it comes when you love the person. When you love the person. When you don't love the person, you cannot rejoice. Right? You may say that I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. But this is not too sincere, not too serious. So how to let it be felt in its true form is when you love the beings. How to feel the love? How does the child feel the love towards the parents? Anybody? How does this? Okay, and say young child, when the child is day one old. Day one day old child, does the child love the parents? Day one you are born on this earth. Moses, day one you are born, do you love your mother? Huh?
Dangerous question.
Huh?
Dangerous question.
Dangerous question. Okay, let's not talk about it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's say, Nick, day one you are born on this earth?
I don't know why it's love.
Huh? No, you know what love is, but do you love your mother? Huh? Day one. You have no clue you don't know who that person is. You don't know, you have no clue, right? The nurse grabs you, you're happy. Your mother grabs you, you're happy. Your father grabs you, you're happy. And somebody who kidnaps you, grabs you, you're happy. Right? You don't know who the other person is. Now, You who has no clue of this person, this lady, after about like 3 years time, 4 years time, then the moment you sense that this person, now you call as your mother, you sense a prospect of the mother and you separating for like 3 hours or 1 day. What's your feeling? Huh? Did it ever happen to you in your life? Is that so? It never happened to you. Did it ever happen to your life? Happen to you? You, as a very young child, age 4, 5, 6, 7, doesn't matter. As a very young child, seeing the prospect that you are going to be separate from your mother, that your mother is going to leave, and you're going to be in the hands of your grandparents for the next 2 days. Did it ever happen to you in your life? How many of you raise your hands? It happened to me in my life. Okay. So those who raise their hands, tell me what's the feeling like. You're happy? Now this mother is going to go away. I'm so happy. I have the freedom. Or what's the feeling like? Fear, anxiety. Sense of? Okay, that's quite strong. Okay. Another? You? Any experience? Oh. What was? Sadness, acute sadness. What happened was that once my sister was going to send her 2 children, the daughter and the son, for a holiday, 1 week holiday to their uncle's place. And the mother brought the 2 children to my house, and both of them very young, age I think like. One is 7 or 8, other one is 9, like this. And the mother came, and the mother meaning my sister came. Then we were talking for about 1 or 2 hours. Then put all the bags there, and slowly the mother was going to leave. Then the daughter, who was 1 or 2 years older, I did not know what was going in her mind. Suddenly, she just burst into cry. She could not control the cry. She could not control, literally she could not cry. What happened? Because all these 1 hour, she was just resisting, right? Feeling the pain of the separation from the mother. She would feel that, and she was just controlling it. And suddenly, when she saw the mother leaving, she couldn't control it. She simply burst out, erupted. Right then, I could feel the pain there, the pain in this young child's mind. Tell me, why this girl erupted with such the pain of the cry? Why? Because of the separation. Why this pain when she could see the prospect of the separation? Why? Because of that tremendous love. Right? How come that this child, day one she was born on the earth, she did not have this love and affection towards that mother. Now, after this like 8 years, she felt so much of intense feeling of love towards the mother. What made her feel that? Tell me. Hey, no experience. From alien world. No experience of love with your mother. Huh? Yes?
Maybe the mother has done a lot more.
Exactly. This is the fact. Everybody, all of us know that. Because when the child is hungry, the food is coming from this mother. When somebody says, you stupid, hopeless girl, hopeless boy, then you cry, nobody's there to console, the mother comes to console you. Right? Then, say, when you need some toy, again the mother comes to give you the toy. Whatever you need, the need is coming from that. You see that person as a source of benefit. Incredible source of benefit. The moment you feel that person as a source of benefit, your mind feels close to where the source of benefit is. So that feeling of closeness is known as the love. Your mind, in English, the word is, I feel close to my mother, which means love. Your mind go closer towards the source of benefit. So mother is the one. Mother, father, brother, sister, whoever, with whomever you feel close, your mind go closer towards the mother. So that is the feeling of love. With the feeling of love, then you do something so good or you are very successful, mother takes pride in you. No jealousy. So love, the genuine feeling of love is so precious. It simply dissolves your jealousy. It simply dissolves your anger. It simply dissolves all the barriers. So, how to cultivate rejoice is to cultivate love. How to cultivate love is to reflect on the points where all the beings are so kind to you. And how can I see that all the beings are so kind? Because there are so many beings so nasty towards me. Just give an example of this pen. This pen. Okay, this pen, we can use it. Say like 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, even the kings and the queens who possessed the whole wealth of the empire, even they did not have the opportunity, the privilege to use this pen. They have to use the feather. They did not have the opportunity, privilege to use this pen. And this pen, if you are to make it for yourself, by yourself, you need minimum billions of dollars. Because you have to extract the plastic from the petrol. You need the whole petrol refinery required. And the inside the nib metal, you have to have the mining. Right? And then all these things should come from these places. How many people involved? And all these materials should come to the factory. Factory, they should all these big machines to really make these things happen. So many people involved. Just one pen will cost you billions of dollars. Today, tell me, what do you think was the cost of this pen? $2. Just $2. For $2, you are getting the privilege of using such a marvelous pen, which even the kings and queens 2,000 years ago did not have. What made you to have this privilege? Tell me. If this is for you, if you are to produce this yourself, it'll cost millions of dollars, but you don't have to pay millions. Just pay $2 and you get this pen. What made you enjoy this privilege? Tell me. Because of the? Don't say kindness, right? Speak your mind. Be very practical, be very realistic. Because of the mass production. It's Singapore. Singapore is all about this production, right? What happens? As though like you're not from Singapore, right? It's a mass production. What does it mean by mass production? Means the same object, the same kind of object is being used by thousands of millions of people. That made the production very cheap. And those people, it's because of these people involved that you got the privilege, you got the benefit of using this pen, which even the kings and queens did not have. So this benefit, who gave you this benefit? All those people who are involved in the mass production. Do you know these people? You don't know these people. And for sure, even your enemy is also using the same pen. It is the involvement of your enemies that you are getting this pen very cheap. If you think very seriously, you see that I'm getting benefit. This pen, your clothes, the cushion, the hall, and the car, the food, whatever, every small details of the benefit that you're enjoying is all because of the involvement of the millions of hands involved. Not only Singaporeans, worldwide. It's because of them that you're getting all these benefits. So the more you benefit, think about the benefit, the more your mind will flow towards the source of the benefit. This mind flowing, this mind becoming closer towards the source of benefit is known as love. This is how you feel love towards all sentient beings. The moment you feel the love and affection, it dissolves jealousy. The moment it dissolves jealousy, it leaves room for rejoicing others. Virtue. Okay, good. And there's one question which is not really meant for me, it's for the doctors. The question is, if I have a cancer, mole on my hand, cannot chop off hand, so how to solve? This is not my problem, actually. You have to go to a doctor, actually. Or sees a dream. Is it a dream? Okay. So because it's a dream, so it is my thing. Yeah, it's related to me. The point is that we should be very realistic. We should be very realistic, right? I love this so much. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, at one point, he said something which is so practical. I love this, what His Holiness said. It's so practical. What he said was that, okay, we talk about compassion. And somebody asks, if yes, compassion is very good. But then, if you practice compassion all the time, then people start taking advantage of you. So how to solve this problem? His Holiness said that, yes, you talk about compassion, compassion, compassion. Then, say, if there's a mad dog coming towards you, if you say compassion, compassion, the mad dog will bite you. You are very unskilled. What should you do? The moment the mad dog comes to you, run away. Don't talk about compassion, compassion. Run away. Be realistic. Be realistic. You getting it? So this seeing things as dreamlike, this is not the immediate measure. It's a long-term measure. So for all the problems, we should think of two measures. Immediate measure and the long-term measure. Immediate measure, for example, if you have cancer, mole on your hand, go to a doctor and think of surgery or radiation or chemo. Go for these three, right? As advised by the doctor. And then on that basis, you can do other things like purification practice and so forth. But more important than the purification practice, go to the doctor. This is very important. This is the most important. Many people, right? Initially, they don't believe in religion. The moment they come into Buddhism, they become so blind faith. They become so blind faith. And then, before they go to a doctor, they go to the teacher. Okay, please do me divination. Please do me divination. Should I go to a doctor or not? Right? If the teacher is a very sensible teacher, lucky, you are lucky. Teacher will say, go to a doctor before coming to me. Whereas if the teacher is not sensible, teacher may say that, okay, you can go to the doctor, it's not good now, you can go after, say, 2 months. Divination says you should go after 2 months. After 2 months, you're too late. You're going to die. These are all the mistakes. For the health issues, doctor is the best, not your spiritual teachers. For spiritual matters, your spiritual teachers are the best, not the medical doctors. For the mathematics, don't go to the biologist. For the neurons, don't go to mathematicians. Right? This is where the people make me so blind faith, so blind faith. And at one point, say, somebody I know, I will not mention the place and name of the person. True, I know the situation of the person is going to a very serious cancer problem. So I know that allopathic, give up. Allopathic meaning Western medicine, give up. And then the other options also give up. The only left, from my point of view, is Tibetan medicine. I know one doctor is so good, so good. So I suggested that, okay, no point. If you want to go for a Tibetan doctor, don't go to any doctor. Simply because Tibetan medicine is the choice. And no, within the Tibetan doctors, there are variations. Some are so good, some are horribly bad. Right? Simply because the Tibetan doctor doesn't mean that it's good. So come to this Tibetan. I suggested and said that I had a divination from my teacher. My teacher said, don't go to this teacher, don't go to this doctor, go to this doctor. Finish, I have nothing to say. Right? We should be very realistic. We should be very realistic. When you're sick, go to the doctor. No need to. If your teacher is very smart meaning knows the overall picture, can guide you a very good doctor, right? That, okay, blessing water, and the blow. What blow? Even the vapor coming out, maybe there's a virus. Yeah, we should be very realistic. Who knows? There might be the virus there. The teacher might be also having the what do you call it? Hepatitis B. Who knows? Hepatitis B, then you blow the spit, you will, spread the virus to you. Who knows? For the illness, we should be very practical, right? His Holiness is very practical. If you consult His Holiness, somehow if you get the opportunity to consult His Holiness, He will send you to one of the best doctors. He will not say that, okay, division game, you have to stop, don't take any medicine for the next few months, you do this prayer, medicine puja, this thing. He will never say this. He will just say, go to the best of the doctors, right? And along with going to the doctors, then you can do pujas, all these things, that's fine. These are additional factors to help you, to make the recovery faster or to make the diagnosis better. But you must go to the doctor, right? And if you're hungry, don't go to the spiritual teacher, go to kitchen. I'm not joking. This is so important. Sometimes I really feel so energy exhausted. Right? One time one of my good friends, morning, gave me a call. Oh, Geshe, now I give up Buddhism. I said, okay, what happened? It's fine, you give up Buddhism, fine, but what happened? Then she said that, oh, I've been praying to Buddha, I've been to Tara all these 3 years. They never answered the prayers. I said, what kind of prayer? Then she said that my brother is not getting a job, and I requested, I prayed to Buddha and Aritara that my brother get a job for the last 3 years. Okay, now I know why you're Buddhist. You're Buddhist because you want your brother to get a job. This is the reason why you embrace Buddhism. I said, if you want your brother to get a job, don't embrace Buddhism. Tell your brother to study well. Tell your brother to sit for the competitive exams. Study well, don't go to the pubs. Don't go to the nightclubs. Tell him to study well and compete for the competitive exams. Pass exams, get a good job, right? Don't pray to Buddha, right? Pray to your brother. Brother, please study well. Don't pray to Buddha, pray to the brother. And then, so when I see these things, all my energy drained, what do you do? Then when I say that, okay, you are ill, I know, there's one doctor, you go to the allopathic, this is there, and the Tibetan medicine, this is this doctor, you must go to this doctor, not that. I give all the suggestions. In the end of the day, then what is the first they listen. Then finally, after saying all the suggestions, right, all the suggestions, then they said that, my teacher said that don't go to this place, don't go to the doctors now. Finished. So unwise, teacher and student both. Very unwise. Okay, so the point is that immediate measure, go to the doctor. Don't talk about dream-like, right? Everything's dream-like, oh, this is like dream-like still. The problem is there. So go to the immediate measure, go for the immediate measure. Long-term measure is the spirituality, how to see everything like dream. And these things is not something that you can achieve within a day or two, within 1 year, 2 years, or even within 5 years, 10 years. It will take time. But we need to have the short-term measure as well as the long-term measure. Both are required. Okay. So this finishes with the question and answers. And is there 1 or 2 questions, direct questions from here, from the downstairs? Do you have any questions? Or from the upstairs? Okay, Pavanila.
I was curious to know if the Buddha is omniscient. I understand how he can know the past and present, but if he knows the future, then does it mean that our life is deterministic? Okay,
so this is what, again, about the free will, deterministic versus free will, right? And the Buddha's omniscience, and the debate on the God being omniscient, God being omniscient, all these debates are there. So to make it very quick, say the Buddha knows the cause and effect so precisely. Buddha knows the cause and effect so precisely. With this particular cause, this effect will happen. This particular cause, this effect will happen. Okay, so before this, I think we have to go through the free will. or later? Free will next year? Okay. First we will discuss this, and then this question will come. What is free will? What is predeterminism? First, in a very cursory or very general form, predeterminism meaning that everything is fixed. What is happening is already fixed. Nobody can change it. Because what is happening today is because of the yesterday's cause. What happened yesterday was because of the 2 days ago's cause. So everything is already fixed. Nobody can change anything. Okay, this is the predeterminism. And the free will. Free will is, no, it's not that everything is determined. You can determine what your future is going to be like. You can determine. This is free will. Okay, generally speaking, if you accept free will, there's no room for predeterminism. If you accept predeterminism, there's no room for free will. This is this is how these two things work. Now, and then this is a debate. This is a debate with almost all disciplines, like neuroscience. Neuroscience, again, say the reductionism, following the reductionist approach. Reductionist approach meaning what is happening on the macro world, like the free will, okay, say I'm happy, I'm not happy, or there's a depression there, there's a tension there. This is what we conventionally experience. Then they try to see this, what is happening there on the brain. And the brain, they try to go into the localizing the brain. Very specific brain. So go smaller. This is known as reductionism. They go into the reducing things into smaller and smaller, say the levels. This is known as reductionism. Now neuroscientists, generally speaking, their approach is reductionism. And nowadays, some neuroscientists, they talk about the whole brain is operating in a collective the form. Okay, this is what is some of the scientists they're talking about it. Otherwise, they just go into pure reductionism. Okay, this part of why depression is happening because of this part of the brain is affected. Why the epilepsy is happening because of this part of the brain is affected. Okay, this is how they explain. This is known as reductionism. Reductionism meaning that you try to reduce what is happening, what is so visible to our conventional mind, conventional world, into the micro world, into the tiny, the neurotransmitters transmitting from one neuron to other through the synaptic connections. Okay, so this is reductionism. Now, the point is this neuroscience. Then physics. Okay, they like the relativity theory, talking about the macro world. Whereas the quantum physics talk about the macro world. Quantum physics. What the quantum physics explains of the reality. Reality, not necessarily final reality, but reality as how things exist only by dependence on the observer. And independent observer, nothing's really there. And then how the same object, which conventionally would say that should either behave as particle or as wave, they say that no, the same object can display any of the two natures, not necessarily confined to one. Even the electrons can behave as the waves, not only particles. Okay. It depends on how you design the experiment. In other words, dependent observer, then you see the object accordingly as a wave or as a particle and so forth. So objectively, nothing is really there. It's just dependent on the observer. This is how they speak. They talk about what they see and what the conventional world accepts is very different. What they see, what quantum physics explains, and what the conventional world we experience is very different. Then so from that point of view, quantum physics cannot really accommodate or cannot really explain the conventional world seamlessly. This is a problem. And neuroscience, they go into true reductionism that they cannot really explain the functional world of the mind so well. And then likewise, any other system, any other discipline which is more cognitive in nature, they end up in predeterminism. Predeterminism, because they have to explain things on the basis of the cause-effect relationship. The moment you deduce everything on the basis of cause-effect relationship, then things become predeterministic. Okay, the moment you say predeterminism, the free will there's no room for free will. Then, if there is no free will, again there's a problem. If there's no free will, then there is the practical problems there. Practical problems, the judiciary and the court cases, litigations, all these cases are on the basis of, say for example, on the basis of the thought processes, where somebody is insane and engaged in such heinous crime, still the person can easily be released on the basis that the person was insane, which means that person did it not through one's own free will. It happened because of the illness or whatever. Whereas, if none of these things are detected there within you, that you did it through pure free will, you'll be punished severely. Right? Okay, which means that the free will, if you don't account for the free will, the worlds, you cannot administer the world. Then anybody can take advantage. You do all the heinous crimes and you say that it's because of the previous causes. Right? Okay, these are the technical problems there. You cannot deny the free will, and the moment you explain free will, then the cause effect should be compromised. The moment you compromise cause effect, many of the disciplines, they shatter the foundation. So now how to resolve this? Okay, this was actually a problem, a discussion that happened in Israel during my recent visit. We had a conference, the intellectual conference on the perspectives on consciousness. And then the neuroscientists were there, very senior neuroscientists were there, then the physicists were there, psychologists were there, and it was a very rich discussion. And then on the third or the second day, I think the third day, I think it was 2 days. The second day, closer towards the end of the program, then this debate on the free will came. And they were their approach is reductionism. And they're talking about the free will. So they cannot reconcile the two things. Reductionism, they have to go into the cause effect. Free will, there's some choice there in your hand. So this is what happened. And they cannot resolve this problem. Then, say during the end of the discussion, I raised my hand and I told them that this problem, how you are discussing, will never be resolved. Because free will is not operating on the reductionist level. Free will is operating on a different level. And your approach is looking for the free will through the reductionism. You will never find the free will. So this is what the Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. This is what the Arya Nagarjuna taught 2,000 years ago. Where the Buddha taught form is empty. Emptiness of form. And Arya Nagarjuna taught the two truths. Meaning that the same object can be seen in two different ways. For example, this flower. This flower, you look at it from distance, you see it's a flower. You look at the same object through electron microscope, you see it's a bunch of atoms. So, the moment you use the electron microscope, you are going to the reductionism. With the reductionist approach, you will only find the atoms, you will never find the flower. And you go deeper into the atoms, chance for seeing flower is even more distanced. So what you see, first you see the flower, then you see the cells, then you see the chromosomes, then you see the DNA molecules, then you see the atoms which constitute the molecules, then you see the nucleus of the atoms, protons, neutrons, and then the electrons. So more you go into the reductionism, less is the chance for more remote is the chance for you to see the flower. Flower is there, this undeniable reality. Flower is there. But you approach, look at it from one perspective to look at the macro level, you will never see the flower. Flower is to be seen through macro level. So it is the two different perspectives. Two different perspectives. One perspective, the macro, from distance, you look at it, you see a flower. Then the other perspective, same object, you look at it from the electron microscope, macro perspective, you see the bunch of atoms, you will not see the flower. So one see the flower, other see the emptiness of the flower, absence of the flower. Which is true, is correct. Both are correct. Both are correct with respect to two different frames of reference. Whereas if you expect to see the two things, try to explain the absence of the flower and the flower with one frame of reference, you will never come to see these two things together. Whereas with two different frames of reference, you will see the emptiness of flower as well as the flower with two different frames. Likewise, free will is to be seen through macro observation. Then the cause and effect can be seen from the macro observation. For example, with respect to, let's say, what is in there? Water. Tell me, am I going to drink this water or not drink this water? I'm going to drink it. If you say you're not going to drink it, I'll drink it. Right? So there, am I going to drink it or not drink it? Which scientist can tell me? Up to me. Up to me means is your free will. So there the free will exists. On this level, this is the macro world. On the macro level, the free will exists. Then what I do? I drink it. Okay, what made you to drink it? I use my free will. If you ask me, why did you drink it? Then I say that because I felt a little thirsty. You're getting it? Because I felt a little thirsty. Because I felt a little thirsty means my thirst is the cause for making me to drink. So cause effect is operating, plus the free will is there. Free will and the cause and effect both operate, they're overlapping. They overlap. Right? These are not contradictory. They overlap. One is the macro, one is the micro. They are not contradictory. This is something which was taught, right? Macro meaning the conventional truth. Micro meaning the ultimate truth. It's the same object. With the same object, you can see the two realities, conventional truth and the ultimate truth. Conventional truth cannot be seen by the ultimate analysis. Ultimate truth cannot be seen by the conventional analysis. These two truths are the realities of the same object. Okay, so you said that what am I doing? What am I doing? Drinking water. Okay, how many you say that you are drinking H2O? And how many you say that you are drinking electrons, protons, neutrons? So most of us, you said that you are drinking water. And the chemist will say that you are drinking H2O. Physicists will say that you are drinking electrons, protons, neutrons. Which of the three perspectives is correct? All are correct. All are correct. All are correct. Which means one is macro. You are drinking water is macro. You are drinking electrons, protons, neutrons is micro. Both are correct. Whereas the difference is when you see the macro, electrons, protons, neutrons, then say if you're very thirsty and if you see me drinking, taking in electrons, protons, neutrons, your feeling of the craving for water will not come. Whereas you see me as drinking water, then the craving for drinking water will come to you. So these emotions, emotions? Because all three are correct, all three perspectives are correct, but these three perspectives, they have different potentials to give rise to different emotions. For example, let us say, this is a very fresh flower. It's not the plastic flower. Okay, look at this. What do you see? A beautiful flower. Okay, what is the emotional reaction? Appealing. So say the last 10 days, you have been seeing only the drooping flowers all the time. And today you see this, a very appealing, very refreshing feeling comes to you. Okay, I'm not going to disturb this flower. I'm going to keep it here. You keep looking at it. Keep looking at it. Now imagine that you're looking at this same object. I'm not going to disturb this. You look at through electron microscope. The first what you saw flower. And the feeling is very pleasant. Emotional state is very pleasant feeling. Then you look at it through electron microscope. Electron microscope, you start to see the chromosomes. Right? Okay. First you see the cells, then the nucleus, then the chromosomes. Okay, chromosomes. What's the chromosome like? Anybody? X chromosome, Y chromosome. What is that structure like? Helix structure, right? Oh, we say helix. Helix structure means it's like beautiful. It's not beautiful at all. When you see that chromosome under the electron microscope, it is not at all beautiful. It's very repulsive to look at. It's like the snake, brownish snake-like. You must look at it. There is the video clip of NASA company. Video clip of NASA company on this. You say, power of 10. That clip is known as power of 10. You just Google search power of 10. And it'll come out. Look at it, you'll see the chromosome. Very repulsive to look at. It's like a brownish striped snake structure. Okay, what are you seeing now? The same object, what are you seeing? You are seeing the chromosomes. What is the emotional reaction? If you see a brownish snake, what's your feeling? Repulsion. Okay, repulsion arises. Then you further fine-tune the electron microscope. You will see the same chromosome as just, say, DNA molecules. Through further fine-tuning, you will see the hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. That's it. Right? And then, which of the atom is beautiful? Hydrogen or oxygen or carbon? Which atom is beautiful to you? No difference. Is it beautiful? No. Is it ugly? No. It's neutral. Now look. The same object, you see from distance, flower, appealing emotional state arises. Same object, through electron microscope, on one level you see it as a chromosomes, appealing feeling disappears and the feeling of repulsion arises. The flower disappears and the appealing feeling disappears, repulsion arises. Through further fine-tuning electron microscope, you see the atoms, the chromosome disappears. Then the feeling of repulsion also disappears. What happens? Neutral feeling arises. Look, the same object has the capacity to give rise to three different emotions within us. Attachment, aversion, and neutral. So how come that this same object is able to give rise to three different emotions? What is responsible for that? Three different perspectives. You're getting it? Three different perspectives. What are these three different perspectives of the 5 mental factors we studied? Three different perspectives fall under which category? Discrimination. You're getting it? Okay. Because of this discrimination, then the feelings arise. Very pleasant feeling as a flower, unpleasant feeling as the chromosome, and the neutral feeling as atoms. So the feeling can be changed by changing the discrimination. You're getting it? Okay, so discrimination is on the basis of the perceptions. So this is how. Okay, with this, the point is that why? Okay, free will. The free will. So when we go into the micro, what we earlier saw as a flower, which is undeniable reality, which we earlier saw as a flower, which is undeniable reality, dissolves when you go into the micro. So The flower is a macro object. With a macro object, don't try to play with this macro object through the micro approach. Through the micro approach, you will never find the macro object. So the free will is a macro object. Free will is a macro object. And within the fabric of the free will, there's the fabric of the subtler cause-effect relationship. Subtler cause-effect is operating, and on that, then on the macro level, cause-effect is operating. On the macro level, the free will is operating. On the macro level, the atoms operating. On the macro level, flower is operating. You're getting it? There's no contradiction there. So whereas if you believe in pure reductionism, not knowing the concept of the macro reality, if you believe in only reductionism, you will never find the free will. Not only you will not find the free will, even the flower you will not find the flower with the reductionist approach. Okay, so now with this in hand, say the Buddha knowing everything, Buddha knowing all phenomena, the future. The future, Buddha knows the cause-effect relationship. There's a free will operating there. And then, okay, so even keep aside the Buddha, even the very learned, somebody who's very learned, very experienced, say the person, can just look at the young child. From there, the person can predict, okay, this child will grow to somebody who is very kind, affectionate, loving person, loving towards the parents. Just from the behavior of the child, from there, the person can infer the future. But the child does have the free will. Right? So likewise, you can infer the future. You can infer the future from what is happening today. For example, the weather forecast. Right? Weather forecast is inferring the future. Right? Although it may not be so sophisticated at the moment. It may not be too precise. Sometimes it says that it will rain on today, it doesn't rain. Right? It does happen because accuracy is not there, but with the basic principle operates on the basis of inferring. So in the case of the Buddha, just by seeing things there, you can simultaneously see everything. Because what blocks us from seeing everything, that is removed. Okay, so we have half an hour, 6:30. Okay. Okay, now what I'd like to share with you is, okay, what I'd like to, if you have more questions, okay, upstairs, any question?
The last message was shy.
We're too shy to ask questions.
Okay, any question from here? Or Nick, if you can quickly go up. Or Kesila can go up, yes. Brother Kesila can go up. From here, any questions? Yes.
How to be?
Okay, through the mic.
Because a lot of people who are working out there in a competitive world is worried to reveal that they are Buddhists because at workplace is quite competitive. So my question is how to be assertive while you are, how to be compassionate at the same time set boundary and be assertive.
In the competitive world, how to maintain the compassion?
Well, being assertive and set a clear boundary.
Okay, sets a clear path. Okay, this is a very practical question. Finally, to be competitive in this world of the competition, you have to survive. And Charles Darwin said, survival of the fittest. Right? Charles Darwin said, survival of the fittest. Somehow you should be fit. That's very true. What Charles Darwin said, I would say that for the ordinary people like us, almost like 100% what Charles Darwin said is true. Survival of the fittest, right? And then how you survive through like the various emotions. We want conducive factors. Conducive factors are brought to you by attachment. Only if you have sense of attachment, then you will try to look for these things, right? And where there's a fear, or where there's a threat, or things are unconducive, only if you have a sense of aversion, that will help you to keep away from those unconducive factors. And then only if you have a sense of fear, then you will run away from the threats, right? So therefore, Charles Darwin said that these mental qualities, they have nothing wrong with it. They are to protect you. They are to make you fit to survive in the community. This make you survive. These are the basic instincts for your survival. Whereas the Buddha said it a different way. Buddha said that you can survive. Generally speaking, how the universe is operating, how the beings are operating, how the Homo sapiens are operating, is generally speaking, how the Homo sapiens are operating is through these. Through these, yes, attachment, aversion, and fear. Through these, they operate. Yet, because it operates through these three means, they always end up in suffering. They always end up in suffering, endless suffering. Now the Buddha said there is a way by which you can survive without having to resort to these three factors, attachment, aversion, fear. At the same time, you will not have the pains. Whereas by resorting to these three measures or these three means, you survive, but with so much of pain, at cost of so much pain you have to go through. Whereas the Buddha said that you don't have to go through pain. The pain is because you resort to the wrong means. These three means. Instead of that, why don't you go for compassion? Then with the compassion, then people take advantage of the compassion. No, go for the skillful compassion. Don't just go for compassion. Compassion is two kinds, unskilled compassion and skillful compassion. Go for the skillful compassion, where you benefit and others benefit. Right? Competitive world, competition where, you grow without a feeling of ill will. You grow and, I will succeed, I will thrive, I will work so hard. And then, by not pulling others' legs, by not pulling down others, right? You also grow. I will also work hard. You also work hard. Both work hard, and you both succeed. Rather than you just the pushing others down, and then you try to go forward. This is very destructive, and in a way, in the end, this will destroy you instead of helping you. So the point is compassion, skilled compassion, where you benefit, others benefit. And if you can give a very concrete example, how do we apply the skilled compassion under this situation? If you give me a very concrete example, then we can work on it accordingly. Any more questions? Yes, Ritala.
In Buddhism, we believe in karma. But for non-Buddhists, sometimes we said, oh, you did something bad, that's karma ripening. For them, they said, no, it is not karma. We don't believe in this. It's just coincidental. So how do we explain that? And how are we going to rebut them?
So this is, again, a question which oftentimes happens. One, say, say if there's a problem, somebody has a problem, and then somebody, Rita, can you give me a concrete example?
Like, for example, somebody have done quite bad
Yeah.
things in their life. And later on, their children turn out not so good, or suffering, or maybe, say, for example, some serious illness. So we said this is karma ripening on their children or whatever. But then to non-Buddhists, they said, no, this is just coincidental. There's no karma. We don't believe in this.
Okay,
And, you know,
so now I got it. There are two things. What the Buddha said is the two basic premises which we learned yesterday or day before. The two basic premises. You will not experience the effect of the karma which you have not accumulated. And the other one is, you cannot avoid experience of the karma which you have accumulated. And if you want to put the annotation, provided you have not cleansed the negative karmas, or provided you have not, the karma is not destroyed before the ripening. Okay, these are two basic premises. From this, what we need to keep in mind, that the child and the parents, if the child has not accumulated the negative karma, the parents have accumulated negative karma, the effect will not be experienced by the children. Let us keep this in mind. This is very, very important. Okay, so only if there are times where the child and the parents in the past life, they've accumulated a collective karma, karma which jointly accumulated by 3 of them or 2 of them, then later on effects can be experienced by both. Whereas if for some other, due to other karmas, 2 of them are connected as child and the mother, and whereas the karma accumulation is very different, then what the parents accumulated will not be experienced by the child. This is what we have to keep in mind. And then whereas in case, if there's a collective karma, which 2 of them accumulated collectively in the past lives, now the parents did it, the parents does something, and then the effect is felt by the children. So that is purely because of the collective karma. So it is your collective karma. If you say this, the non-believers will say that, no, this is not karma, this is accidental. Right? So how to address this? In the first place, for non-believers, there is no point for us to say it is karma. No point to say that is karma. So whereas if the non-believers, they ask you, what's the Buddhist point of view? Then you can say, Buddhist point of view is karma. Right? Whereas if they ask you, okay, it happened to me, why? Then you can say it's the genetic problem. Because you have inherited a genetic problem from your parents, now you pass it into your child. Yeah. Only if somebody believes in karma, then you explain the karma. And even if the person doesn't believe in karma, still asks you what's the point of view of Buddhism. Then you go, from Buddhist point of view, is karma. Right? Because of the karma, that the genetic disorder is collectively, negative karma is accumulated. So that is ripened in the form of a genetic disorder of the grandparents. That is passed down to the parents, that is passed down to the child. You can blend the two. The modern scientific explanation and the karmic explanation, blend the two and explain it. Yeah.
So in that sense, when Buddhists speaking to non-Buddhists, we have to be very aware and not to impose, because many a times Buddhists just strongly say, this is bad karma for you. And non-Buddhists say, no.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So therefore there's no point.
Yeah.
There's no point. Okay. So if a Buddhist encounter with a non-Buddhist, and this situation, the best thing, instead of trying to convince the non-believer to believe in karma, make a belief in compassion. Make a belief in the wisdom. Make a belief in the understanding of interdependency. These 2 things make a belief this is the greatest gift from you, rather than forcing them to believe in karma. Because eventually, if somebody believes in compassion, unconditional compassion, person will never do negative karmas. If somebody knows the concept of interdependency, the world is interdependent, okay, my happiness depends on his happiness. My happiness depends on her happiness, so I should make them happy, right? This understanding of interdependency will make the person behave in a very compassionate way. The moment the person behaves in a compassionate way, automatically the person accumulates positive karma. With the positive karma, the effects the person is going to experience is going to be happiness. So this is what the aspiration bodhicitta is. May all sentient beings be happy. This prayer is accomplished. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay, yes, there.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes.
okay. I want to know, like, karma applies to all sentient beings, right? For those that have been unfortunately reborn into, let's say, the lower realms, like animals, even hungry ghosts, for example, and they don't have the fortune to learn Dharma, how can they get out of, this negative karma? Because, like, for example, in the animal kingdoms, the lions, the snakes, they survive by killing, for example, and they are continuously committing bad karma.
Yes.
So how do they, for beings like that, how do they get out of it? What is your explanation?
Okay. One is just a theoretical discussion. How can they ever come out of this lower realms? Can they ever come out of the lower realms? One. Number two is, what can we do to them? Two. Okay, first one is more intellectual discussion. Can they ever come out? Okay, answer is very difficult, but the answer is yes, because it's not that they have taken birth as the lower realms all the time. In the past lifetimes, many lifetimes they have taken birth as human beings. They have taken birth as the gods and goddesses, and while taking birth as human beings, they love their parents. At times they've been kind to their parents. This kindness towards the parents accumulates so much of positive karma. So it's not that they have only negative karmas. At this particular time, the negative karma is being, like rain shower, without hardly any positive karma. Only if sometimes they display this love towards their own, the cubs, the baby lions, baby animals, they show love and affection. And in some cases, even the lions, they protect the cows. They protect. Sometimes. It's amazing. It's not that they always eat. Yeah, they also help others. Amazing. Rare case, very rare though. Okay, the point is that in the past life, they have so much of positive karma accumulated. So technically speaking, it's not that they will always remain like this. Anytime the positive karma, one of the previous very strong positive karma can be activated, they can take birth in the human realm. Okay, one. Number two, what can we do for them? This is the question. In order to help them. So for them, the best thing is always include them in prayers. What you can do is, and not just prayers, do something concrete. Do some concrete compassion, practice compassion, and meditate on emptiness, exclusively for these animals. And then feel grateful to them, that I'm so grateful to you, because of you that I think of saying prayers for you to save you from the animal realm. And because of you that, with this, it made me to practice emptiness more rigorously. So now I'm growing, all because of you. May you. So look, you are connecting. You're karmically connecting with them. And then, because of this karmic connection, the moment you become Buddha, you can easily, because of the karmic connection, you can easily benefit them very quickly. You can relieve them from samsara very easily. So this is how we, what we can do to them. Number two. There's also number three, that I may also take birth like this anytime. I may. Then how can I come out, right? So this is number three. For that matter, in this life, see how much we can refrain from engaging in the 10 non-virtuous karmas. And if possible, try to go for vegetarianism. Yeah, very scary. Yeah, So there, right, they're putting their own effort to kill, then, tease apart, eat. And we don't put the effort to kill, we just enjoy eating, right? So there is quite scary. So what we can do is, if possible, try to convert to vegetarianism by seeing these realities, national geography and so forth, these things, and then see how to refrain from meat, number one. If you cannot refrain from meat altogether, at least, okay, now I'll stop chicken, I'll stop fish, or I'll stop mutton. You stop one thing. Taking steps, this is so precious. If you cannot stop altogether, okay, at least henceforth I will not buy and buy and cook in my house. So when I go out, I may eat, but inside my house, I will not eat it. Then even if this is not possible, then say, okay, in 1 month, on the auspicious days, like 15th of the lunar calendar, 30th of the lunar calendar, 10th, 8th. So they say, at least once in a month, I'll be pure vegetarian. This is also amazing. You have taken great steps. And then if even that is not possible, then at least have a feeling that what I'm doing is not really good. I really appreciate the people who resort to vegetarian. I really appreciate them. So this much we can do, everybody can do. So these are the steps you are taking. This is how we follow the path. Gate, gate, para, gate. Very good. Yes. Here, Moses.
Hi, Geshe. My question is that I think one of the most difficult aspects of Buddhism from a secular perspective to accept is the concept of rebirth. And there may be many people who see the value of many Buddhist practices but may not fully believe in the concept of rebirth. So I have two small questions. One is, how would you explain why we should believe in rebirth? And two, from a practical perspective, even if a practitioner should have doubts, how should one reap the most benefit from their Buddhist practice, even if they do have doubts about the concept of rebirth?
Wow, it's not small, it's a big question. Okay, this is a very serious question. And number one is why should we have to believe in rebirth? One. Number two is, even if you have a doubt, okay, it's fine. Being very sympathetic, right? Even if doubt is fine, but how to make the most, take the benefit of the Buddhist teachings. Keeping aside the doubt, keeping aside the rebirth, what other things we can extract from Buddhism? Okay, these are two very practical, very good questions. The first thing is, I don't think I mentioned this in this group. Oh, I did mention this. Okay. The point is that, first, to be very secular in perspective, it is worth examining whether or not rebirth exists. It is worth examining. Because if you don't examine, even pay heed to whether or not there exists rebirth, then the question is, we become like, there's no difference between human beings and animals. Right? Cats and dogs, early morning, then they get up, they go to look for food. Human beings also get up and go to job. Go to job is a nice way of saying looking for food. Actually, it's looking for food, right? And in the night, you feel tired, come back, you feel so tired, right? And human beings say, have extra thing to do, watch the television. The dogs, they don't have to watch the television. They go to sleep. That's it. What's the difference between human beings and the dogs? So therefore, the point is, we have an extra intelligence. This extra intelligence has the capacity to see whether or not there is rebirth. Right? And then, even if there's rebirth, what's the benefit of thinking about rebirth? This is the next question. Even if there's rebirth, what's the benefit of it? So two questions. How to explore that is one. if you find that yes, there's rebirth, then what's the benefit of exploring that? For example, let's say the planet Mars. Planet Mars, we are guaranteed that there's no water there, but there's a trace of water. This is the question, right? Whether there's a trace or not, what's the benefit to the planet Earth? If there's water, this is a different question. If there's the water, then next time there's a war happening here, we can move to, the victor can move to there with the sophisticated technology, get water there. With the trace water, what's the point of looking for the trace water? This question. It's just meaningless. Now the point is, likewise, even if there's rebirth, what's the point in reflecting on the rebirth concept? This is question number 2. The first part, whether or not there's rebirth, how to do the search on this, explore this. For that matter, there's one book which is so important, known as Pramana Vartika, chapter 2. In this world, this is the best book on rebirth. Pramana Vartika, chapter 2. You have to study this. Right? And don't expect to understand it just by reading it. There must be somebody to explain this. You have to study this thoroughly. Number 1. With this, and it's going to be a long journey. It's not going to be a very quick journey. It's going to be a very long journey, which means it'll take some years to really get it. Because to understand quantum physics, it takes some years. It's not just 1 hour lecture. Quantum physics. Okay. Now, once you understand this, what's the benefit of this? The benefit is that the young child will say that I want to play on the earth, I want to play on the ground, I don't want to go to school. But the parents will somehow persuade the child to go to school. Why the parents are persuading to go to school? Because the parent could see beyond today. Beyond today. Because if the parents don't push, then the child will always play, not seeing what is tomorrow. And then when the tomorrow comes, the child is lost. No way of sustaining oneself. So, likewise, those people who do not reflect on the future lives, they are like the small children. They don't see tomorrow. They don't see the next life. They just focus on this life. With this, they will not prepare for the next life. Right? And the next life, if it is there, finish. You are not prepared. You will suffer terribly. So therefore, why the parents, they don't make the child to go along the passion of the child to play all the time, is because the parents could see tomorrow. What after 5 years? What after 10 years? And so forth. So, if the parents let the child do what he or she likes, then the child will not be prepared for the future. The child will suffer. So therefore, for the wise people will see the farther away and plan accordingly. So this is the benefit. Planning for the future happens only if you reflect on the rebirth. Right? So what is the additional question?
The last question is, even if there are still...
Okay, even if there's a doubt, even if rebirth, I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm not too sure. So this, take it away. So how to reap the benefit? So for that matter, what it says that still, no matter whatever is the case, it's always wiser to think of further away, which means the rebirth concept, even though it is a little difficult, quite challenging, still lucky that we have this book. If this book is not there, then to prove rebirth is very difficult. Luckily, this is there. So you keep this as your main journey. Plus, the doubt is there. But this, it's fine, there's doubt there. But how can I benefit from the Buddhist teachings? Twofold. Understanding of interdependency, emptiness concept and the universal love on the basis of rationality. Cultivating universal love on the basis of rationality. These two things are the very unique features of Buddhism. And that too, rationally, not through blind faith. Yes, Li Hui?
You mentioned we cannot experience the karma without accumulating it.
We cannot experience the result of the karma which we have not accumulated.
Then when we dedicate merits, right? When we say we want to benefit these people, but they didn't commit that karma,
Wow.
then how will they
This dedication
experience?
work.
Yeah, how will they experience the result? Then if I have the merits, right? Actually, it will ripen on me, right?
Yes.
But we cannot do like transfer
Then how
points
can
thing, right?
how can I dedicate my marriage to others?
It doesn't work by.
They've not accumulated this.
So it's not like donating points to them.
Donating, no donating points. No donating points. No donating points. No.
But when we say in the prayers, and then we say that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas love us very much, right? So they want to benefit us.
Yes.
But because
yes.
I never do all this good karma, how will I get this?
The benefit of the Buddha.
Yeah, so it works both ways.
It is their karma. It's not my karma.
Yeah, so it works both ways. Like me to collect it from them, and if I want to help certain people, how would it? Yeah, how does this work?
Operate?
Like
okay, this is a very serious-
rationally.
Wow, amazing. Okay, is there anybody who can help me? So there's no donating points, right? You cannot donate the points to others. With the law of karma, no, this donating point is not possible. It doesn't work, right? So then how can I dedicate my merits to sentient beings? How can I reap the benefit from the Buddhas? Buddhas, what they accumulate is their karma. It's not my karma. So how can I benefit from them? And how can I dedicate my merits, karmas, to other beings? Because it's my accumulation. It's not the accumulation. They will not experience it, no matter how much I pray. This is what he's saying. Okay, anybody who can help me?
You make aspiration?
Huh? Yes, how much ever I make aspiration, but others will not reap the benefit. It's my accumulation karma. They have no, huh?
You are the catalyst to start something.
But they did not accumulate, so they will not benefit.
Then you pray for them to benefit.
So pray is again my karma. It's not their karma.
If I were to be Buddha, I would be able to help them. So
How to help? By donating points?
no. Because we have the collective karma, right? So they will slowly, with the virtuous action.
Okay,
they
that's
will
one
walk their
point.
path.
There's a collective karma between you and the Buddhas. That's one point. Very good. This collective karmas can become, then the accumulates, the karma which I accumulate exclusively today. We accumulate collective karma. So this karma is collective karma between us, not with the sentient beings in Nigeria or America like this. So we cannot dedicate this for others, right? We cannot. Because it's a collective karma, our karma, not theirs. How?
As a collectively, we
How can we give? Because there's no donating points. We cannot donate them to this karma.
it's the same logic as you dedicate all the benefits to all sentient
This is a
beings.
question. This is what she's asking. Yeah, the first is you got a good point. The second one, that's not. Anybody? Fedla?
Okay, Sheila, could we say that because it's like we have all known that like we have been mothers and child of all sentient beings in past life, so that already we have got some kind of karma intertwined and interlinked.
That's true. The previous, so many karmas are there.
Yeah.
But collectively, we accumulate now. This is totally absent with those in the other places.
But I think it's like because it's like it could be due to our past karma that we have done, that we are going to receive also some kind of merits that other people could be doing good. It can go back to us. Maybe it's not that powerful, but we cannot undermine that, the power of
That's
the
fine.
merits.
That's fine. But how can we say we accumulate the karma for 3 days?
Yep.
So this karma, how can we dedicate to all sentient beings? They did not accumulate this. This is not a collective karma with respect to all sentient beings. It's collective karma with respect to only those who attended this.
But I think it's like someone mentioned about making aspiration that is strong enough.
No. Aspiration, with aspiration, you are making the karmas to be donated to them. This is what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
We
I
cannot
think
donate.
that okay.
Donation is not possible in karma.
But it's like, but from what I know, merit is not like 1 point for 1 point. Sometimes it's like if you actually make aspiration to dedicate to all, it manifests, it can become bigger. So it's not like $1.
No, it can
share
become for
among
you.
everyone.
It can become for you. It can become bigger for you, but not how the others have not accumulated. So how will they experience?
But you mentioned that we are interdependent.
Yes, interdependent. Yes.
Interdependence, please elaborate.
Yes.
Because of the interdependence, whatever we do is interdependence, right?
Not whatever we do. No. Not ever, whatever. So we do now the 3 days class. So this, we are collectively involved. So therefore, we are interdependent with respect. All the beings on this planet Earth, they are interdependent because we have collected karma to be born in the same planet. This is the interdependent from that respect. Interdependent doesn't mean interdependent on every respect. That's not true. That you are not my mother in this life. No. You are not my mother in this life. So, simply because my mother of this life was my mother, so why not me also? No, it doesn't apply. It applies in some contexts, not in all contexts. Okay, so because we don't have time.
Vishula,
Yes.
there's one question upstairs.
No, okay.
Jack?
So, okay, before that we will first give the answer. Okay. Answer is that how can we, let's say if, okay, let's say person A, okay, let's say your mother is sick, and then you pray, you do virtues, so that your mother illness will recover, your mother will recover from the illness, right? You do virtues like meditation, emptiness, bodhicitta, generosity, speech liberation, and so forth. Then you say how that helps, because you are the one who's accumulated merit and not the mother. Mother's lying in the bed, not accumulated merit. So how does it affect? Okay, so this, if you can explain this, then everything will be explained very easily, right? Okay, mother is becoming sick. And mother is, if you do not do this practice, the mother is going to remain sick for like 1 month. 1 month. So the mother has accumulated enormous karma, positive karma, negative karma. Positive karma to heal the illness, negative karma to continue the illness. Both karmas are there. Now, because of your karmic connection with the mother, what happens is you accumulate merit. This merit will not be donated. This merit will hamper, will stop the ripening of the negative karma, further ripening of the negative karma of the mother. Right? And let the positive karma ripen in the mother. Because negative karma is stopped, then the flow is the positive karma. So it is not your karma donated, it is her own karma activated. Versus karma activated because of your activity. It is not that she is experiencing your karmas, she is experiencing her own karma. Right? For example, let's say that let's say that how many of you have used the coupon money? Coupon money meaning some papers? Huh? Vouchers. Okay, we say coupon money. Let's say vouchers. Say, I'm running a shop, and then I accept these vouchers only on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I don't accept, and Sunday I don't accept. Then you come on Thursday with the voucher. I said, sorry, I cannot accept it. And then you go to Faidla, right? Because Faidla is a great supporter of my business, right? Faidla says, Geshe, please accept it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't make no difference to you. Okay, exception, I can accept it, right? It is your money. And then you get whatever object, the item that you want from my shop, you get the thing. This money is not coming from Faidla. It's your own money. You got this money. But this money becomes useful because of the connection. Money is yours. Likewise, the karma being experienced by the mother is her own karma. But that is being affected by you. That the negative one is hampered and the positive one flows is what you did. If you know this, it's applicable to all karmic operation.
Eventually, will the bad karma be ripened? Because hampered only, right? Just a temporary stop.
Okay, let's say, okay, all these discussions have to be done in very more detailed discussions. Let's say that, okay, let's say that I want a watch. Let's say I want a watch. And the watch costs me minimum $200. Let's say $200. And my mother gave me $200 for the watch. And I meant to go to buy the watch, then in between I had to hire a taxi. And the taxi cost me like, let's see, $26. So from $200, $26 gone. So the remaining money, I will never, with this remaining money, I'll never get a watch. The remaining money is there, but it's useless to buy a watch. Right? So how the karma operates is very intricate. Okay, good. Any more questions? Upstairs, yes. Okay.
We have a question upstairs.
What's the question?
Good afternoon, Kepala.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to let you know, before 7 August 2018, my belief in understanding in Buddhism is just restrict in prostration and chanting for my own family and my son. And after 7 August, I almost lost faith of Buddhism because my young son, who is very kind, suddenly passed away. So I lost faith for a period, but because I wanted to find answer. I wanted to find answer for his sudden leaving. He's a boy who even saved snail. Why this happened to him? And because of that, I want to know Dharma. And I'm like almost committed suicide. And I pluck up my courage to find the answer. And I learned Dharma. And the more I learn, I've been learning from YouTube, from King. Sorry, from King.
Yes.
Hello, can you
yes,
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I have learned a lot so far, and I'm more and more about karma. And my question is, because of this impermanence happened to me, I have sort of like very, very strong renunciation. I wanted to get out of samsara. I wanted to get out of samsara because I feel the pain, the really intense pain, the pain that can almost kill me every day. So with this strong feeling that I wanted to get out of this samsara, and now I study Buddhism more, I also know a group of friends who is from the support group who had lost one of their children. So all this mother, I can see their pain. They all are very, very devastated. So my renunciation now is not only for myself. I also wanted to help this group of mother. So my question is, with me, what I have encountered, with my encounter, I have strong renunciation, and also I wanted to help all these mother or sanctioned beings who are suffering here, because I now believe that this samsara is really very suffering through this separation and all kinds of suffering. So can I know, can I consider I have already achieved bodhicitta and also renunciation? Can I consider that because of what I have encountered?
Okay, so this is, I know this situation. I know you also so well. This situation is a very, very, very serious situation. And so in a way, as I said earlier, there's some people when they encounter with such a tragic incident, people then they go away from dharma. Somehow they go away from dharma and they're totally detached. So this is very unfortunate. And whereas others who met with such a tragedy, and the faith in dharma grows even more. And in some cases, it could be because of the persuasion, because of the advice from others. Whatever is the case, somehow you come in contact with, remain contact in dharma. This is a clear indication that you are very, very, very meritorious. Now, not only that, now today, the additional thing that I learned from you is that you see that it's not just you. It is what happened to many others as well. And then you can see the pain of these, you can empathize with the pains. The moment you think of these pains, it literally is like killing the individual. This is so acute painful, no doubt. That's true. And then you are helping them. This is so kind, so kind. And now the point is whether or not you have really generated the renunciation of bodhicitta. Okay, so technically speaking, the experience that you had, that this life is so hollow, even there's somebody who you love so much, and there's somebody who never does anything bad, like your son who passed away, and then there's somebody who never did anything bad with others, instead encouraging others, make others happy, others seek the inspiration from him, and then you having such a love and affection towards the child, and how come that he passed away? So at such a young age, so before he actually go to engage in his the career and so forth. So the point is that the many great saints who we call as having generated renunciation, having generated bodhicitta and so forth, say the degree to which they feel the renunciation. Once in a while we all feel that feeling of, okay, the world is not really a nice place, I have to be free from this. But then how intensely you are feeling, this is really, really, really very intense. I can feel that from you, from meeting with you, I can feel that. And if this is something which we can feel looking at throughout the world, good things, bad things, beautiful, not beautiful, rich, poor, you look at any situation, you will see that they're all just hollow. Until I get out of samsara, these things will continue to perpetuate. If this thought comes to us, then in a way, this is the renunciation and genuine renunciation. And it says that when we go through the great teachers or the great practitioners, what they do is that although they do not have this experience as you had, but they deliberately try to cultivate this feeling of the pain, to see how miserable the world is, how miserable the samsara is. So when they feel that wherever you look at, this is so hollow and the gloomy and so forth, and then wanting to get out of this, no matter where you take birth, rich, poor, educated, uneducated, no matter where, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just the same with miseries. If this is a conclusion that comes to you, then no doubt this is what Lama Tsongkhapa calls as a genuine renunciation, feeling that wanting to come out of this problem, days and night. This is what you can see in Lama Tsongkhapa's text, very short text by the title, Three Principal Paths. So there, this is very clearly indicated. Now the bodhicitta, so you wanting to help others who go through the same plight of losing the children at a young age, so you feeling such empathy and compassion towards them. This is so precious. And then on that basis, if you really feel that may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings who go through these problems, and if this feeling, may I become not just to help them, but help them in the most effective way, that is by becoming Buddha, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, if that feeling comes to you and is sustained days and nights, then this is the accomplishment of the bodhicitta. So this is from what you have been going through, in particular what I'm learning something new from you about how you're helping the others who are going through the same plight of losing their children, and then you empathizing with them and helping them. This is so precious. I really appreciate it, and I truly would encourage you to continue with this journey and see how much you can help many other more, and not only in this life, also in the future lifetimes. This is so precious. Please keep up with what you've been doing. So kind of you. Yeah. Okay, yes. Okay, maybe one question and the last question.
Geshe, you mentioned the self-grasping ignorance in relations to rich man mentality and the poor man mentality. Please help clarify and elaborate more on that because I want to learn more.
Say it again. What did I
Okay,
say?
you mentioned the
Self-grasping ignorance.
self-grasping ignorance in relations to rich man mentality and poor man mentality.
Self-grasping or self-centered?
Self-grasping, I think that was self-grasping.
Okay, unless you are sure, don't blame me. You should be very sure. You said like this. Right?
My focus is more on the elaborations on the rich man mentality and the poor man mentality. Rich man mentality is like more to lose.
It's not about self-grasping
Okay,
ignorance. It's about self-centered
All right,
attitude.
self-centered then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So self-centered attitude, these two materials are same. We are equally rich. Poor, rich. Self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, both. Everyone, before you go to the first gate, before you enter the gate, we are all just equal in being so rich. Rich with? Not with wisdom, with self-grasping ignorance. Not with other cherished mind, self-centered attitude. We are so rich. It's a matter of time. So, say when you become somebody very, no political power, you seem so, humble. When you get the political power, you become very aggressive. When you are poor, you're fine. When you become very rich, you become egoistic. And some people, they become very rich, they are still very humble. There are some very poor, very humble, and become still very humble. All the multiplicities, the multiple things, innumerable things are there in this universe. So now the point is that this self-centered attitude can manifest in different forms, depending on your situation. Say, if somebody does not have a house, will think that, how I wish if I have a simple house, right? How I wish if I have if just a simple house, just a roof, I'll be happy. I will not go for it. The moment you get a roof, then if the self-centered attitude is very aggressive, then we say, okay, if I have an extended small house, kitchen, this is endless, right? Ideally speaking, there's no harm, there's nothing wrong in having a house, having a good house. There's nothing wrong. You can have the best of the mansion in this world. Still, you may not have attachment to this. You may not have anything. Still, you have the most aggressive attachment. It doesn't mean that if you have one car, you will go for 2 cars. It's not guaranteed. It's about your thinking. It depends on the individual. You're getting it? So generally speaking, the tendency is that if somebody is greedy, within the given situation where the person is poor, then the person will not be greedy to have, or will own the, what is that? The Singapore, that boat like? Huh? Marina? No, I'd like to hear from him. Marina Bay Sands. Sands or sand? Sands. Marina Bay Sands. Okay, let's say, if somebody is so greedy, but very poor, will not dream of owning the Marina Bay Sands. But the same person, very greedy, owns, 3 or 4 buildings. Okay, how I wish I have the Marina Bay Sands. Will have this. So it's a contextual. It's not that everybody will have this greed. No. It's very contextual. It depends on the individual. Yeah. Some people who are so rich may not have any greed. Right? Somebody who has such a political power may not have the greed, hunger for the political power. Yeah, it depends on the individual. Okay, the last question over there.
Hello. Geshe, reflecting on what you said yesterday, I actually have several questions, but the most pressing is the one that made me a little depressed after reflecting on what you said. And that was when you shared that your teacher, it took about him 7 years just to work on this aversion with the water, the manager who managed the water tank. So for those of us who are not monastics, not practicing full-time, is all this discussion very intellectual, because then we have no hope for a monastic to take one reaction 7 years. How would we be able to deal with this fast-paced world where everything is at the click? How can we manage?
Okay, this is a very practical question. At the same time, we should be also practical, right? So just practically see if you can apply this on a day-to-day basis. Just see. Experiment this. For example, the first thing is stop engaging in physical and verbal aggressions. Stop. My teacher did not have the opportunity to stop harsh words towards the mother because he's in the mountain, the mother is down. Whereas we have the opportunity, because we are with the mother, to practice this. We are so fortunate that we have the mother next to us, right? You practice it to your mother. Don't go too far away. I'm not a monastic. I'm not in the hermitage. I don't have 7 years. You know, it's such a busy, hectic city life. You have your own opportunities. Use those opportunities. Stop using harsh words. The busy life does not guarantee that you have to use harsh words to your mother. If you use harsh words to your mother, even your work will be neglected. Right? If you want to have the busy life very effective, stop using harsh words to your mother. Don't waste your energy towards your mother. Don't waste your energy unnecessarily scolding your mother. Right? So, practice these. Charity begins at home. Don't think of monastic in the mountains like this. Don't think of these things. Charity begins at home. All these practices can be done equally while you are at home. Right? Okay. So this is something what we can do those things and then see the change within you. Once you see the changes within you, then you feel like doing it more. Right? Then in the mountain, you don't have the chance to benefit others. Whereas in the city, you change yourself, then people around you, automatically they're benefited. They learn from you. In fact, in Delhi, there are several people who come to Tibet House, and because they themselves transform, there's circles, the circle of the people around them, they will ask him, how come that there's a tremendous change within you? You become so calm nowadays. What happened? Amazing. How can we learn from you? This is what the people, others, they're not coming to Tibet House. One person coming to Tibet House and changed himself or herself. The people around them, they're so fascinated. You encounter with such a tragic situation, still you maintain such a calmness. It's amazing. How are you able to do that? I cannot do it. Please teach me. Look, this opportunity, even my teacher did not have in the hermitage, whereas you have. So do what you can. Do what you can, and then for the next steps, it is like, then you will see like this joy coming in you. With the joy coming in practice, then you like to do the practice even more. Then the pace will be faster and faster. Just as the city life, the pace is so fast, your Dharma practice, the pace will become very fast. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Okay, now very quick, what I'd like to share with you is, the last point that I'd like to share with you here is, finally, what is the takeaway? What's the takeaway from these 3 days? Right? What I would say is that we encounter with so many people. At times, some is fine. Some I meet with, they share their problems. I give some the suggestions, and then they follow this. And some they are not at all ready to follow the instructions. Right? Practice think about impermanence like this. They're not really ready to this. And within the same session, when I'm talking about this, and then the mere thought about some problems, the mere thought or some anecdote or problems I share with you, instantly the person started to panic. Instantly started to panic. Okay, so look at this situation. Okay, now what I'm sharing with you is a practical scenario. From this, what we see is, if this is how the person starts to panic, even to hear about a tragic incident, how much more so will happen if the person really sees the tragedy happening to one's near and dear ones. So how to deal with this? I see this, and the person cannot see herself or himself. What after some years when the tragedy happens, right? And I could see this. I could see that this person will have the traumatic attack, anxiety attack, no doubt, very severe anxiety attack after some years when that incident will happen. Bound to happen, guaranteed. Bound to happen. So, what preparation we have? What preparation we have if we all have somebody who we love so much? We have. Like a mother, father, your child, whatever. And like the way the question was asked by the lady, likewise, we all have this, somebody to whom you love so much. What happens when that incident happens? It will happen one day. Guaranteed it will happen. So how to deal with this? How to tackle it? What preparation do we have? This question. For that matter, my one suggestion that I will suggest is this. The first is Ye Dharma, this mantra. This mantra, see if you can recite 3 times a day, minimum. 3 times a day. Don't recite 100 times, okay, do it 100 times, right? And something magic will happen. No magic will happen, right? I can say easily, okay, if you say this 1,000 times, then magic will happen. I can say this. But the reality is magic will not happen, right? What's the real magic is say this 3 times. If possible, initially recite this with the meanings reflected. Meanings reflected. All phenomena, they don't arise randomly, they arise from the causes. Even the tragedy that I'm bound to face with is also because of the causes. Causes related to myself, not somebody else, related to myself. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. Just recite this mantra 3 times. Then after this, recite the meaning of the mantra. All phenomena arise from causes, not randomly. Causes which I myself did, causes. And what these causes are taught by the Tathagata, by the Buddha. And how to bring an end to these miserable causes, to bring an end to the suffering, is also taught by the great seer. Say this meaning 3 times. And then the 4 lines, which is so important, the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings, the 4 seals. This is so important. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Transcending sorrow is nirvana. Okay. One time. So with this, what we are doing is, in what way it helps us to prepare us, is not that when the sudden incident, tragedy happens to you, then miraculously you will be saved. No, there's no miracle there. The real miracle is that gradually your mind becomes habituated. Your mind becomes realistic. Otherwise, at the moment, we are not realistic, right? We are not thinking about these incidents now. Because we don't think about this, suddenly if it happens, we are not prepared, which means that we are not realistic. And this is something which is not happening to you only. It happens to everybody. Everybody. So therefore, the real miracle is making you habituated in this reality, making you prepared in this reality. Always recite this like 3 times. All composite things are impermanent. Slowly, no hurry. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Transcending sorrow is nirvana. If possible, try to get a whole lecture on this. Try to get a whole lecture on this. And this is beautifully explained by His Holiness the Dalai Lama in His Holiness's book, which is the heart of the essence of the Heart Sutra. Essence of the Heart of the Sutra. There's one book by His Holiness, it's explained there. So just try to read the explanation of these 4 lines. You must get a very thorough understanding of this, must be convinced, and recite this on a daily basis 3 times. Okay. Then the one stanza, which is, I don't think it is here. Okay, the one stanza, it is not here, but there's another book, The Bliss of Non-Dual Bodhisattvas. The book is available here. Many of the people also have this book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicitta. So there's one stanza there, I think page 46 or 47. So there, the stanza reads, I go for refuge in the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. This stanza recited 3 times and wholeheartedly feel that. So this way, you continue to do this, and then followed by Tiyatha Om Gade Gade Para Sam Gade Pore Soha, which means that don't remain weak all the time, right? Something tragedy happens, you are so weak that you easily being affected so badly to the point that you become paranoid, you become hysterical, right? So, which means that this is just indication how weak we are. The true nature of you is not weak. You are so strong. Why not we come out with the true nature? How to do that? It is by making yourself strong. How to make it strong? For example, when you build the house, the bricks, the cement, what do? Every day you put some water. Every day you can't expect that you put the wall and tomorrow it becomes very strong. No, you have to every day put water to make it stronger, stronger, stronger. Likewise, our mind has to be habituated in this practice so that it becomes more and more realistic, more and more strong. And eventually, that your mind is not affected by any external factors. No matter what happens, your mind is never ever stirred by any fear, no fear at all. So so the point is, as you recite this, in a way we are telling ourselves, and these are all the blessings of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are encouraging us, don't remain in the fears anymore. Don't remain weak. You are not weak inside. Deep inside, you are not weak. You are very strong. You have the Buddha nature inside. Why don't you awaken this? Meet with your Buddha nature. Let this Buddha nature come out by removing the mental dirts. How? In the process. Gade, but it's a constant reminder that I should continuously improve myself. I should continuously remove my negative karmas. I should continuously stop engaging in the negative karmas of harming others, using harsh words towards my mothers. All these I must refrain. Then you become stronger, stronger, stronger. And then mentally, I should not easily give in to the negative thoughts, anger, attachment, jealousy, greed, and so forth. I should not easily give in to these things. And then self-grasping ignorance. Finally, I should learn how to see everything is like a dream. The final answer to all the fears is the wisdom of emptiness, to see everything like a dream. When this experience is realized and imbibed in its bare experience, the fears all stop. Okay, so this is how we have to prepare. Number 1 is what? Ye Dharma mantra. Then 3 times. Then meaning of the Ye Dharma mantra 3 times. Then the 4 seals 3 times. Then the Bodhicitta stanza. I go for refuge in the triple gem. I confess the negativities. Okay, it is there on page 5 of this book. Page 5 of this book. Page 5 of this book. Okay, stanza 2. Verse 2. Verses to General Bodhicitta, the second stanza. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, I'll quickly explain this meaning. This is a very precious stanza. I'll quickly explain this. I go for refuge in the triple gem. The complete understanding of this stanza is that I will not remain weak. I will not remain weak. I will meet with my true nature inside. I will meet with my true nature of fearlessness and the infinite happiness. How? How? Okay, at the moment, I don't have the fearlessness. The seed is there, but I don't experience it. I don't have the infinite happiness. The seed is there, I don't experience it. From this state of being so weak, from there, I'll undertake this journey towards the enlightenment where I'm totally freed of all my fears and I have abundance of infinite happiness. This is where I'm going. So this is a very long journey. very important journey, but it's not an easy journey. It's a long journey. Because this is a very important journey must be supported by a very powerful, there must be a very powerful support. And the greatest of the support is the triple gem, Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. So the first line says, I go for refuge to the triple gem. Means that I'm seeking the support of the triple gem for me to undertake this journey from the weakness to the state of ultimate fearlessness and the infinite happiness. Okay, 1. After taking the support, then you cannot wait and let the Bodhisattva do for you. No, you have to do it. How? Journey involves 2 things. Journey involves the road. Road must be very clear. If the road has all these, the trees, the boulders on the road, you cannot move. So road must be very clear. This road is none other than your own mind. Your mind is the road to journey. Your mind is the road to enlightenment. So this road must be clear of the obstacles of the mental defilements, negative karmas and so forth. So how to remove this boulder of the negative karmas? By confessing the negativities. Number 2 is, second line says, I confess the negativities individually to make the road clear. Once the road is clear, if the car does not have the fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. So the car should have enough fuel. So what is that car? The car is none other than own mind. And this fuel is none other than own merit accumulation. So we should accumulate enough merit. The best way by which to effectively accumulate merit is by rejoicing in the virtues of others. So the third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Okay, now the road is clear. The car is enough fuel. Now what kind of journey you're going to undertake? The journey of becoming enlightened. The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. This stanza is so powerful. Okay, and then you say, that after doing this, then, okay, every day, somehow I must improve. I must not stay where I am. I must keep improving. How do I improve? There should be a reminder all the time. There should be a reminder. What reminder? Tyatha gate gate para samgate bodhi swaha. Mean, go beyond, go utterly beyond and establish your ultimate enlightenment. So this journey is saying that you must improve from gate to the next gate to the para gate to the parasangate, and still don't stay there. Go towards the bodhi swaha, to the full awakening of your potential. So this stanza should be a reminder for us that I should keep improving myself, no matter, there's no excuse whether I'm in city or busy life, whatever. I have to improve. Finally, I want happiness. I don't want fears. I want to get rid of fears. I want to reach the state of fearlessness. I want to reach the state of infinite happiness. For that matter, I must improve from the weakness to the weakness and the vulnerability to the state of fearlessness and the full protection. So this journey I must undertake, I must improve myself. For that matter, don't expect that, okay, after very hard work for like 1 month and then you become enlightened. Don't expect that. If you expect that, it's the indication that you're going to quit the journey altogether, which is very dangerous. So start small, be consistent. Right? What we did, Ye Dharma 3 times, then the meaning of the Ye Dharma 3 times, then 4 seals 3 times, then Bodhicitta stanza 3 times, then Tyatha Gate Gate 7 times. 7 times, right? Total, it will not take you more than 5 minutes. 5 minutes out of 24 hours is nothing. 5 minutes out of 24 hours. You have 24 hours a day. From this, 5 minutes is nothing. This much is something doable, right? And those of us who are already doing, other practices, I rejoice. And those of us here who are more new to this, or who have not yet started journey, start with this journey. What I said, these stanzas, if possible, try to know the meanings. If you don't know the meaning as yet, recite this. And then make it a way. Don't wait till, His Holiness the Dalai gives teachings in September. Don't wait till that point. Say you have your friends, the seniors. Go to the seniors and ask what meaning of this stanza. Right? And there are many who already learn it. And you have also your teachers. If you get access to teachers, you go to teachers. If not, there are many seniors. you can go and ask for the meanings of these. Okay, if you can do this much, it's amazing, right? This is how we extract the greatest meaning out of life. This is how we can give a meaning, a real meaning to our life. Okay, so that's it. We will do a quick dedication prayer. Okay.